is because we stopped talking about working class people issues. When mom and pops are afraid, I can't pay my college tuition, the rent is too damn high, healthcare is too expensive. We stopped talking to everyday New Yorkers and Americans. When I'm in the street talking to them, they're not asking me, Eric, tell me about fascism. They're talking about finance. They're not talking about Hitler. They're talking about housing. We need to talk to everyday working class people.
Joy Behar, Whoopi Goldberg, and the rest of The View are losing their minds once again. This time because RFK Jr. has been appointed to be in Donald Trump's cabinet, which is really weird because RFK Jr., of all people, should be the last one that they would be freaking out about on The View because he shares a lot of their same beliefs. RFK Jr. is, in my opinion, a bit too much in favor of gun control. I don't really love his stance on the abortion topic, but The View would love it, and The View would love his stance on gun control as well. And there's a few other things that I think The View would like about RFK Jr., but because he goes against that one thing, that thing that goes inside of your arm that they love so much and that they worship so much, they freak out whenever this guy is appointed, even though he's going to 100% be a net positive for the health of America, no doubt about it. Let's get into this clip here where Joy Behar and The View get shut down by their guest because they are melting down about the RFK Jr. appointment.
Donald Trump secured another 4 years in the White House, but what are the ramifications of a Trump election for blue states like New York, particularly here? So today, to give us his specific take, is New York City Mayor Eric Adams. How do you do?
Thank you. First, I want to say congratulations. I hope my son saw the proposal because I need some grandchildren. He needs to get married. You know?
I don't think that was on camera.
In the audience. We had a proposal this morning.
It was lovely.
Right. So let's get right to, you heard us talking about RFK Jr. being the head of HHS. What do you think about that appointment?
The executives will nominate and bring in those who they believe will move their vision forward. And everything from the fluoride issue, I believe we should have fluoride in the water based on what my experts are telling me. But let's be clear, we have a real problem with our food in our country. And we need to watch what we...
I would love to hear why Eric Adams thinks that we need fluoride in the water. I would love to hear what the experts are telling him that he said that he spoke to. That's very curious that he just said that.
Feeding our children. And
what is the major problem, do you think?
Too much hormones. You know, many people know my, you know, I almost lost my sight with diabetes. The doctor told me I would be blind in a year. I was going to lose my fingers and toes. And it was my food. It wasn't my DNA. It was my dinner.
But JFK Jr. RFK Jr. ate some pork and now he has a brain worm. Is he the person that should be in charge of that?
Yeah, well, let's
food?
Right. And let's understand this also. In all of these agencies, there are thousands of employees and experts that understand these topics, and there are rules, there are regulations.
Mayor, a lot of them want to resign when they see some of the people that are going to
If you enjoy content like this, then make sure you leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out a ton. Let's get back to the video.
be on top. There's going to, I think there's going to be a mass exodus of people who have the institutional knowledge and the institutional memory and DOD
I would hope so
at HHS who wants to work under our cook.
And let me respond to that. If we love our country, then no one individual should take us away from our mission.
Yes.
If you dedicated your life to a particular place, I dedicated my life to law enforcement. So if a new commissioner came in that I disagreed with, I was not going to say, I'm going to resign. Let's love the country. Let's love our cities. Let's get away from the rhetoric of the professionalism that we know. Those are experts in this. They're going to look at his proposal, do a real analysis, and make these decisions. It happens every day.
It's funny how they're trying to get ahead of the resignations that are coming as a result of RFK Jr. being appointed by Donald Trump by saying, who wants to work under a kook? No, in reality, these people are going to resign because they know that they have been lying and poisoning the American people for the longest time, with no repercussions. And now somebody's actually coming in and saying, because no real president actually cares about the health of America. I mean, look at Donald Trump and look what he eats, okay? The reality is Donald Trump doesn't care about the health of America. He just doesn't. The reason why he even appointed RFK Jr. is because he wanted to get elected, and he knew that the RFK Jr. Endorsement would have been huge for him, and it absolutely was. And so the reward for RFK Jr. is that you come in and you can be the, you know, do what you want to do to actually fix the health of America, which is one of the main things that RFK Jr. was running on. But Donald Trump explicitly tells him, do not touch the oil, do not touch anything else other than the health stuff, and go ahead and solve the corruption over there. Don't touch the oil or anything else that we're trying to do over here, because he doesn't agree with a lot of things that Donald Trump agrees with in terms of all the other policy. A lot of these presidents, a lot of these people don't care about the health and safety of America, and neither do the people under them. They care about getting paid. And it's the same thing. It's not just with health and safety. It's the same thing with, you know, we look into all the archaeology stuff, the human history stuff. We're being lied to. Like, it's very obvious we're being lied to. Anyone who combats it, anyone who goes against the mainstream establishment narrative of all of history, human history, whether it's, you know, ancient history or more recent history, it doesn't matter. If you go against the establishment, you get shunned from the community and you lose your paycheck. So that's why these people have been lying to the American public. I don't think these workers are like, oh, we want to be nefarious and we're going to take down the health of America and their Birdman hand rubbing. They're just trying to get paid. And if you go against what the mainstream narrative is, the establishment narrative is, you don't get paid. And so RFK Jr. is coming in and they're going to resign, not because they don't want to work under a kook, but because they know that they have been corrupt and been lying and poisoning the American people to get a paycheck for the longest time. And they are going to resign. 100% there's going to be a mass exodus. They're going to run away.
Background, at least. You should have some kind of background in this type of thing.
Let me just... Okay, so, Mayor, when Trump returns to office, he will actually have a lot of power with the Republican-controlled Senate and House. He suggested at times using the National Guard to target the enemy within, and key members of his last administration called him a fascist. But you've defended him. Can you explain?
No, I defended the rhetoric that we're using across our country and what our children are listening to and what we're doing. We've reached a point in this country where we no longer want to engage in conversation. They were even calling him Hitler. That's an insult.
That was only his vice president.
That was an insult. That was an insult to the millions of Jews and others who died. We know what Hitler did. And what I said to our country, when I'm on the streets talking to my young people who are protesting on college campuses, wearing Hamas signs and calling for the destructions of groups, I said, we have to bring down this rhetoric. We have to start engaging in conversation. You know, Obama said it right, and I agree. This is not the divided state. This is the United States. We're the greatest country on the globe, and people are watching us and name calling.
But do you think Trump should have brought down the rhetoric? Because
everybody should.
Well, let's start at the top then, because maybe it trickles.
They will do anything to not take any sort of accountability. It's wild. You know, Eric Adams is sitting right in front of them and saying, we should all stop calling Donald Trump Hitler. Well, that was just his vice president. Like, no, you call him Hitler all the time. You call him way worse things than Hitler all the time. I hate to say things like this, but it's just the truth. The View, Whoopi Goldberg, Joy Behar, these woke idiots on this show are a reason, I'm not going to say the reason or the main reason, but played a part in the multiple assassination attempts against Donald Trump. There's no question about it. They play a part in the narrative that gets everybody riled up enough to go and try and take out a president, a former/future president, and give away their entire life to do it. It's not that serious. Like, Donald Trump will never know that you exist. It's not worth giving up the rest of your life, taking someone else's life, innocent people's life, because The View told you that Donald Trump is literally Hitler. It's not worth it, ever. No matter what side you're on. It's never worth it. They don't even know that you exist, okay? So they're not targeting you, I promise you. Nobody's targeting you. They don't know you exist. But The View play a part in making this man out to seem so evil that if he gets elected, he's going to throw The View in jail. He's going to throw Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and these idiots in jail. He's going to, you know, whatever. All the false narratives that they have been spreading about him, they play a part in it. And whenever Eric Adams, someone who is pretty woke, goes on their show and says, we should all dial down the narrative a bit, they say, well, it's not us, right? Like, you're talking about Donald Trump, right? Like, we can't dial down the narrative. You're surely not talking to us. We're perfectly fine. We're angels over here.
Down.
Everybody should. Everybody should.
Mayor, I want to thank you for your remarks after October 7th, calling out anti-Semitism, which has been on the rise in the United States. I thought it was very powerful. Now, the country is unpacking the results of the election.
Yes.
The vice president won New York, but by 12 points as opposed to Joe Biden's 23-point margin. That was a significant move to the right in New York State. What do you attribute and you actually stated that you think you said the far left agenda is backfiring. What do you attribute the the decline in support among Democrats in New York, too? And what are Democrats getting wrong?
Well, okay, first I want to go back to your original comment. I was calling for the dismantling of hate in our country. Our Sikhs who are being attacked, LGBTQ members are being attacked, African Americans, Jews.
What's an example of these things? Where are they being attacked at? And why are you not going to mention white people? Because if you're just talking about on social media, I don't know of a group that gets attacked more than straight white Christian men. You know, I would say that they get attacked the most. And so you're going to list off all of these people, and he's not going to list off any white people. He's not going to list off Christians when straight white men, Christian men, get attacked the most in the country. If you're talking about social media, if you have some other examples that I haven't seen that I don't know of, please bring them up. But he's not going to. Of course he's not going to.
I say let's dismantle the hate. And what you saw in this city, in this election, where you saw a shift and the city becoming, the state becoming redder, is because we stopped talking about working class people issues. When mom and pops are afraid, I can't pay my college tuition, the rent is too damn high, healthcare is too expensive. We stopped talking to everyday New Yorkers and Americans. When I'm in the street talking to them, they're not asking me, Eric, tell me about fascism. They're talking about finance. They're not talking about Hitler. They're talking about housing. We need to talk to everyday working class people. And we stopped doing that. And those are the issues that they are afraid of. They're afraid of the future of their children.
But the Democratic Party was...
Dude, he just spits so much facts, and they're not going to have it. They never allow that statement to be made where we need to talk to the actual people of America and stop spreading all these false fear-mongering narratives that you spread where Donald Trump is literally Hitler. He's going to come in your house, and if you're an immigrant, he's going to make sure he's going to drag you by your neck back to Mexico. It's like nobody believes this shit, and nobody cares because they can't pay rent, they can't pay for groceries. Nobody cares about this shit.
Addressing most of those issues with the infrastructure bill, for example, and keeping Medicare and Social Security safe. Why would they vote for the party that will hurt them? I didn't get that.
Well, you know, part of the business of campaigning is getting your message out and being clear on your message. Even the experts in their party were saying, get back to the message. What are we doing for everyday people in the country? And that's the same thing happened in 2022. When I got elected in 2022, I stated that, listen, we need to be talking about crime in this country. They ignored it. We lost the election. During 2023, I said, we had to deal with this migrant and asylum seeker issue. It was on the top 1 or 2 issues in the country. We ignored it. We have to go back and talk to those issues that people are worried about.
They're not going to. I hope they don't, actually, because it's going to keep, giving us W's. But they're going to. They're going to start talking about immigration, crime, all the things that they cause in this country. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about Eric Adams, of all people, going on The View and just shutting down Whoopi Goldberg, or I guess Whoopi's not on this one, but shutting down Joy Behar, Sunny Hostin, and these woke idiots on The View right to their face. And you could tell the audience was pretty silent throughout this because they're pretty shocked that somebody that they brought on, and Eric Adams, who's supposed to be part of their echo chamber, is telling them they've been wrong on the narratives that they've been pushing, and that's why they lost the election to Donald Trump. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this whole Eric Adams versus The View situation.